My first design for my new employee training learning environment model, I looked at it, and after exploring the ILED course a little bit more, I decided to add some edits and take some of the feedback and change mine up. So how it started was I took my experience from new employee training and turned it into a learning environment model, and there was a start, there was an introduction with a PowerPoint, and then we had questions and answers after each department did their introduction in PowerPoint, and then the only feedback that we were able to provide was a survey. And then we switched over into our working experience and into our offices, which was more of an experiential model, and we have a probationary period, and we're supposed to practice our job requirements, and once we show evidence that we have followed those guidelines, and then our behavior is evaluated in an IPP process. So as I have explored the ILED course more and I have become more experienced in my position, I've added a few things that I missed the first time that are included in the job training experience, and I also added a few things that I felt would be more beneficial to the training experience. One thing that I noticed is that so this is my redesigned learning environment model for new employee training. So it starts off, one thing I noticed is that the people in HR were talking about how they frequently had to do the same presentation over and over again many times throughout the year, and while that can get very monotonous for them and also not very time effective, that's a whole day of their time that could be used elsewhere. So I thought that the classroom environment was important because you do need to meet people face to face, and also a meet and greet and introduce personnel and exchange personal information, so you needed to see faces. So I thought that that was an important piece to start off with, but maybe that could just be an introduction. And then there could be an online asynchronous environment where each department did an interactive video on essential information from their department that was shared in the initial classroom training. And the learner would then move to display their knowledge and complete an interactive video quiz with multiple attempts. That would be the practice part of it. And evidence of their understanding is they would receive a certificate of understanding, which would be a system action, and the system would be able to read whenever they had completed each interactive video quiz from each department with 100% accuracy. This wouldn't need to be something incredibly difficult, just to make sure that they understood it. This part of it could also be done either before their first day or before this classroom experience, or it could be done throughout their time starting their position. And then you can move into the experiential, like I mentioned in the first one, the experiential section where they're actually working in their office with their supervisors. And I went back and I still had the probationary period and they had to follow the guidelines, but then I also added that a lot of supervisor feedback is given, and feedback is given on work performance during the IEPP process. So I think that that's really beneficial to any new employees, having that feedback from their supervisor and how they can improve and things that they've done well so far. So that's how I changed up my learning environment model, and with feedback and through personal reflection. And also I really wanted to add an emphasis on interactive video, just because through personal exploration I have seen the benefits.